Hello. I'm here alone, so waiting to see if we're going to have company tonight. Just testing. Okay. So give me a few minutes, I'll be back. So I don't know. I did just hear from one person who is not going to make it tonight. So I guess I'm going to do like we did in college and give the professor 15 minutes to get there and then shut it down. So I'll be back.
Hey, Michelle. I saw your note on the post. And hello out there. Everybody come.
Yeah. And I was just saying to the camera that, that I guess I would do like we did in college and give the professor 15 minutes to get there. And then we were like, well, okay, I guess class is canceled tonight.
Right. Oh my goodness.
But I don't know. So I'm really trying to pay attention to all of my messages because, last week BJ said she was trying to wave at me on YouTube, which I never have the YouTube page open, but I have it open tonight. And then after we left the meeting, I had a message. I think it was on Facebook. No, or maybe it was on my phone. I'm not sure. From Karen, who also couldn't see how to get in.
Oh.
So I said tonight, oh, I really got to, try to pay attention to all the different ways people might be trying to reach me. And then there was nothing.
Okay.
Well, so that's why I said, hello out there.
I wonder what would be a good way, to make sure they can always find the post with the link on it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday, I didn't really even notice that Facebook had shut down until sometime last evening. I went to go on Facebook and it said it's temporarily unavailable. Retry in a few minutes. So I just refreshed the page and it came up. So I really didn't have any delay. And so then when I started seeing on the news that Facebook had been down for hours, I was like, yeah.
That's a good sign. That means we're not tied by the hip to the Facebook.
Right. There was a time, when I was, and that would have really, disturbed my flow. But I'm not on Facebook like that anymore. And I guess most people aren't, So I don't know what the best way is. But I was thinking yesterday when Facebook went down that, maybe I should, I could email the link to people. Yeah. That might be a better way. But other than that, I don't know. With our website, I was looking at whether or not I could set up a private room there, place to put the private link. But I forget what the problem was, but it seems like it's not going to really work like that. So email is probably the way to go. But I mean, like for me, I get so much email.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, because since COVID, it's been webinar heaven. So, but when they send you the email to register, right, with the confirmation, you click on it and there's places to save to your whatever different calendars you use on your computer.
Right.
And then it'll pop up with your custom reminder with the page with the link. You can click right there like that. So that might be a good way to go.
Yeah.
But I guess I guess they send it from Zoom. I think you can send it from Zoom.
Yeah, there is a way to do it with Zoom. I haven't used it yet. But when you create the event on Zoom, it is giving you the option to, well, I don't know if it's giving you the option to email it to people, but it's giving you the option to set it up on your calendar.
Okay.
And so then I think if I went to my calendar and invited you from there, you would then have the option to save it, on your calendar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'll try to remember to do that. And then I talked to Kim today.
Oh, you did? How's she doing?
I did. She's okay. But she's not going to join us this time. She won a fellowship, a poetry fellowship. Which is like a 10-week course on Tuesdays.
Isn't that how it always goes, right? Tuesdays, so popular.
Yeah.
But that's wonderful.
Yeah. So she's happy about that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then I just got a message from Karen tonight saying she's not going to be able to make it. She's probably not going to be able to make it tonight because she's working on a deadline. So the only one I think we're missing is BJ, whom I have not talked to. I don't think I talked to BJ all week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That's odd. Let's see. She did a show Saturday. Yeah. It was a tape though, a rebroadcast. Okay. So I'm not sure she's feeling all that good. I was not feeling that good this week. I feel better today. And yesterday, I guess I was feeling better because I went out yesterday.
Is it the change in the weather? You guys getting some rain and whatever up there, or what's going on?
Maybe. I don't know, just kind of the vibes. I mean, I felt like I had maybe a little bit of a fever. Very, very lethargic. Congested, but I did one of my alternative health strategies, and my little oregano oil.
Yes. That's a very potent. You
and,
gotta be careful with that. Okay.
and whatever it was, that oregano knocked it right out. So,
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised about oregano oil. You can even put it on the bottom of your feet at night, and it will
oh,
do its thing. You know.
okay,
So I mean,
okay.
if if Italian breath is not your thing,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But good. I'm
Oh,
glad it worked for you, though. Yeah.
yeah, it always works for me, whatever is ailing me.
Okay.
uh, but I never heard about putting it on your feet.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mixture of what's that? The Chinese, I forget, medicine plus um I can't think of it. Well, aromatherapy kind of thing. And so
Well,
because
I
your
know.
feet, represent different places in your feet represent different organs in your body, it actually goes to those places, which is just
Okay,
amazing. But yeah. Hmm.
okay. I know when my son was a baby, one of the old women told me to put some onions on his feet and put some socks on.
Yes,
He
yes.
had a fever. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, his little feet cooked those onions, sauteed them right up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but did his fever break? That's the
And
question.
it broke his fever.
Okay, because I'm glad you told me that, because I watched a homeopathic lady and she was like dressed like 1850, but I know it was a modern video. But she was talking about the different things to use, and yes, slice the onion in the sock to break
Yeah,
do a bunch of stuff for you. I haven't been brave enough to try that yet. I'm just doing other.
yeah.
I'm choosing the essential oils. I'm like, I need to eat that onion. I'm not going to put it on my foot.
But you could have had those onions because they were cooked.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I
I've
don't.
never done it to myself.
Well, if I get desperate up in here, I'm gonna be slicing some onions and putting it aside.
It works. It works. So
Man,
yeah.
that's cool. Okay.
Oh man. Where is BJ? Let me no,
Well,
I'm
you
over
want to
here
give her a
looking.
call and maybe see, let's see if, well, at least
Yeah.
to see if she's okay, right?
All right. Hold on. Let me call.
Okay.
Okay, so she's not answering.
Okay.
So maybe she is outside. But I guess we can conclude she is not coming tonight. So I don't know, Gio. Uh,
Well,
this, this is not a difficult book like our last
like,
one.
yes.
Like
Um,
that.
yeah.
I talked to Rick this. Did I talk? No, we had a long email. I mean, a long texting.
Oh, okay. But he's doing okay.
He's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. I miss Rick's stories about Europe and and stuff. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. We're having a hard time kind of getting off the ground with this book, it looks like.
Well, I know we wanted to extend the session so we could give each chapter it to do, but we might have to do some other things. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think we should do?
Hmm.
A different book?
Well, gee, that's too much like giving up. We can't give up. We just have to maybe adjust. Maybe we'll have to shorten the session, right?
Huh?
Maybe we need to shorten the session. Um, hmm.
Yeah.
I love, BJ brings such, informative anecdotal stories to it, right? And I would love to hear what Karen's perspective and from her experience and what she um sees.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, I don't know. I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier about not being on Facebook as much. I kind of don't even, when I go in and I check the session 16,
Mhm.
there's very little activity. I can't tell if anybody has been there or seen the stuff. So, I'm just,
Oh.
I'm always open to changing the way we do things. We got to get folks together to figure out what that
I
is. And
know.
I'm just thinking, I don't know where to get folks together.
Well, I guess that everybody's doing their own thing. Aren't they? I think must all be doing their own thing. Um,
Yeah.
well, hmm. Well, perhaps. So, um, I had kind of a thought. So the well, this is probably not going to help with attendance to the webinar, but it's something different. Some we bring to the meeting something related to the chapter, the subjects in the chapter, like a piece of art, a short video, maybe a short, artistic performance or something. Just just so it's not just
Mm-hmm.
just so it's not just us talking about the words. Maybe I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so the competition for attention, and participation is so serious. I'm like, even people that are, little groups that I just, joined on a lark. Oh, those look interesting. Oh, they're having a webinar. Really? But is it
Mm-hmm.
going to be recorded and can I see it later?
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I don't know if we hmm. Because I mean, if people they're not going to show up, what we going to do? We can't, you know.
Yeah. Well, no, Tia, we've been doing this a long time. you know, I've been kind of have been thinking myself, like, this might be my last year of doing it. And, and even though I say that, I say that periodically.
Well, in past times when you've said that, you've had a lot of pushback. No, Michelle, you can't stop now. And, well, hey, sometimes we just need to take a break, right?
Yeah.
And then come back
And
later with new energy.
yeah. But, I don't, I mean, I was thinking this might be my last year, but I haven't decided that. I mean, and I would be, I think I would be lonely if I didn't have my weekly group to do. I mean, I live alone. And I'm not one that likes a lot of company or needs a lot of company, but I need a little.
Okay, so you don't have the crown of hermit on it. No, that's my crown. No, you can't have it. No.
Yeah. So I think if I didn't have my weekly group, I would, start to feel lonely. But but it also might push me to do some other things, which might be good for me. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you won't know unless you try. So don't say, I'm just quitting this forever. You just say, hey, I'm on hiatus. I'm exploring some other stuff. Because you can, right? You're free.
Yeah, yeah. But I wasn't really, why is Maya hired this thing down there? Where's that coming from? Oh, I guess that's Facebook. Oh, I didn't. I kept my Facebook and everything open because in case we got any messages. And I saw one of my girlfriend's names, a name I hadn't seen in a long, long time. And I couldn't figure out why her name was showing up at the bottom of my screen, but it was Facebook.
Oh, okay.
But no, I wasn't ready to go off exploring just yet, but you know, so I don't know. We don't have to make any decisions right now.
Okay.
And, and it's only one night, and you know, and I think Karen and BJ, I don't know where BJ is. I expect her to be around all the time.
So you guys are collaborating on quite a project. So.
We are, which starts next week. And we should have been doing, because she's handling the technical end of it. So we should have been doing a pilot, or whatever you call it, a test.
Yeah, a teaser, yeah, something.
Yeah. We should have that. We were supposed to do it, I think, last week. I don't know. I didn't have the energy. I guess she didn't either.
And
So
that's
I don't know.
okay. That's okay. You can always do it and then show it again, like everybody else does it. Okay, they just do it and then periodically they show. Say, yeah, this is what we're doing. You should come.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, how was your week?
It was busy. Um, and it's only Tuesday. I'm like, I looked at the calendar. Wait a minute, what day is it? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Uh, mm, I'm in trying to. I had to fix my screen door. Uh, so I bought the new screen to roll it and put it in there. I'm like, wait a minute, this wasn't hard. This shouldn't be this hard. And I'm like, I'm getting old. I better lift some weights. 'Cause this is not a good thing because I'm trying to live, in my house forever.
Uh-huh.
I can't. If I'm losing upper body strength, that's not a good look. That could be
Yeah.
pretty bad. So, but I fixed the screen, and then I was looking around. I saw a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I need to do that. And some other things. And then there's a big house painting project that's about to begin. I'm not looking forward
Your
to it.
son's house?
No, no, we finished his. Thank goodness. His house is
Okay.
sold. His house is sold. Yes.
Oh, all right.
Hallelujah. So, but it started making me look around. Oh, these walls and that scuff. And okay, I need to put some paint on these walls.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. And I have a vaulted ceiling in the living room. And I'm like, I gotta get up there. Who can I get that's tall? Okay. I need some tools. I know they make some tools. I can can't get up there. Oh man. And I'm like, well, all these years I had avoided putting pictures on the wall. Well,
Yeah.
mainly because I didn't had to visualize which pictures and what, photographs of family and things. And I'm like, so I finally put pictures on the wall last year. And I'm like, and now this year I'm painting, I'm gonna have to take them all down. I'm like, yes, this is why I avoided putting stuff on the wall.
Uh-huh.
Oh
And
boy.
are you taking the what's a voiceover course?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I need to I need to stop procrastinating with that. I need to be practicing because you're supposed to practice like at least 15 minutes a day or
Oh, really?
something like that.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. And hmm. But I'm not trying to be, great because apparently the career field is I won't say flooded, but there's a lot of starving voiceover actors out there. And especially, since COVID, you notice the stars, that's where they're making their extra money from since they can't be in movies, you know. So
Oh,
that's where they are. I'm like, okay.
okay.
So, but I'm not in it to really make money. I just wanted to learn how to do it, and it gives me a good excuse to read other books, just out loud.
Uh-huh.
So,
EJ's here.
okay, yay! All right, ran my mouth long enough and talked her up. That's good. There
Wait.
she
Now,
is.
wait a minute. No, I have to tell you this though, Gio.
What?
If I am 30 seconds late to the start of our common ground,
What? What?
I have to spend the next week hearing about it. Well, you showed up late.
Oh my.
Listen, how many years older am I than?
Oh, she gonna pull an age card on you.
Not
Oh
a
my
praise
goodness.
card
Oh
this
no.
week.
No, actually, it was the repairman, and I was in the garage, bragging. Oh, you're finished just in time because my book club is at 6:30.
6 o'clock.
6:16, and then I came on and I couldn't find the goddamn address. I'm so sorry to be late.
6 o'clock though.
I know. I had already seen it at 5:55, but somehow we had conversation about 6 or 6:30, and today my brain was saying 6:30. Last week my brain was saying 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It's
I
a
would.
it's a um it's a thing. I'm gonna get.
Gio and I were talking about maybe it would be better for me to email the link.
Well, once I remember Gio told me last week, go to the announcement part. But I had already seen it. I was prepared. I had my book. I had gone to the Facebook page. I saw the Zoom address, and I was already with this man to finish doing what he was doing, and I could hop right on. But what the hell? And you had even said the notice even said 5:55, and I was all ready. But then by the time he finished, 6:30 was my thing.
Okay.
I have to go.
All right.
Okay, well, you're here, and that's all that matters.
I'm telling you, Jill, if I am 30 seconds late.
Oh my goodness.
The next week, well, remember, you were late on Saturday. I didn't know if you were coming. You missed the whole entrance.
What happened?
She's telling on you. That's what happened.
I just start my show over because I didn't want Michelle to be confused because it was saying U.S. Talk Network all over the place, and I didn't want her to be confused.
I was until I figured it out.
Reading is fundamental. The announcement I sent said it was a rebroadcast of a U.S. Talk Network broadcast. The announcements all over the place said whatever. That's because she's so deep into The Handmaid's Tale, she can't pull her head out of her wing. Gio, did you go and watch some of it?
No, I didn't get a chance to. No.
Girl, you need to lock yourself up and get with it.
I'm trying to break my binging ways.
Everybody is talking about it now.
Are they? Oh,
is that not right, Michelle? Is that not right? Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying every time you have a person who really understands what's going on in the politics in this country, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is The Handmaid's Tale and the Republic of Gilead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was starting to get concerned that I've always been a thoughtful speaker, but that I have started getting too slow, that I'm slowing people down or something. But then when I listened to that broadcast on Saturday, I said, well, damn, I've always been a slow talker.
You're just deliberate about the information you're sharing. It's okay.
Yeah, I do. I am intentional and thoughtful about what I say. And when I say something way out of the left field, believe me, I done thought about that. I'm doing it for a purpose, a reason.
Okay.
So, we got Kim Brown for Saturday night. Gio, you need to take a nap on Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll set you up, Michelle. we'll get her on the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you ladies today? How was your week?
I was kind of sick.
Really?
Mhm. I don't know what it was, but I took my oregano oil and I
Well,
started feeling better. But I spent 2 or 3 days just being like really, really lethargic and kind of feverish.
really? I didn't call you because I know you're sick of me. I try to be considerate and thoughtful. You know, I might overwhelm you a couple of times, but then I know I know and then I back off because next week gonna be your week.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Cause I ain't feeling this going to the YouTubes. I am not.
Oh God.
Look at me.
What?
I've been up since 8:30 this morning. Do I look like the wild woman of Rudak?
No.
Okay.
No.
So and um on a rebroadcast, y'all have no idea what I be in the background doing.
But don't spill your secrets. That's okay.
um,
Oh man.
try it. I ain't gonna care. That's what I'm gonna go into. I don't care. It's Michelle's show. I do my thing. And Gio, Michelle, I hate that you weren't feeling well. Because you've been working so hard. It's not the show that's making you get sick.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know. I think I just picked up something. I mean, I barely leave my house,
I
so
know, I was going to say, pick up some from where?
I don't know, but I go to the store, you know. Uh,
But not without a mask, right?
no, I always have my mask on, you know, and and I'm vaccinated, So I don't think it was COVID. I think, I mean, I'm always dealing with some kind of level of bullshit. So it's just another day.
Maybe it's staying in the house too much.
Yeah, I do need to
Uh-huh.
because I really was in. I don't like the heat, and so for the summer I was basically inside most of the time, and then I don't like. I have breathing issues anyway. So to be wearing the mask and to be outside in the heat is just too much for me. So I mostly was inside, but I love the fall. And today we had a high of 67. That is just my ideal of just perfect. So this is the time for me to be back out there doing my little daily walks and whatnot.
Well, we're starting to get some relief too. We had a high of 89.
That's cool for Florida.
That's a relief. I can deal with 89. It's the 94, 95, 98. That's hard.
Yeah.
But Michelle, isn't there a nice park near you?
Well, there was. Yeah, there's one that's not too far away, but there was a little park real close. They shut it down at the start of COVID, and they haven't opened it up yet.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's sad.
Well,
it's a park.
What about, is there a wall somewhere?
You mean for like playing handball?
A stoop, a wall. No, a wall you can sit on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Think about, I mean, I really miss sitting on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't even have any chairs on my porch that was up that way, my front porch. I was just went and sat on my retaining wall in front of all my flowers and shit fall out of the trees. But anyway, I think I feel better when I go out.
Yeah. I did too.
Yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
this morning I had to go to Ace Hardware store to get stuff that this guy needed to do this work. And so, I'm not one of those people that go out before 2 o'clock in the afternoon because somehow taking a shower and a bath and all that stuff and getting dressed and all that stuff. But anyway, I went to Ace and then I drove over to the beach. I got a slight avocado toast from Dunkin' Donut
Mm.
and a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went over to the beach, paid my little $1.50 to park my car. And I didn't stay more than 20 minutes because
That
I
sounds
had stuff
nice.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 10 minutes from the beach. Who wants to come and keep my house while I go to Boston? Michelle, any takers? I'll pay
Michelle, you
airfare.
need to do
And,
that.
and you have relief at 89? I don't think so.
It'll be cooler than that by then. No.
I
Yeah,
have
right.
my whole house is air conditioned. And the other night,
See?
Saturday, I was sitting on the patio. Well, I was cooking because I primarily try to do most of my cooking outside. And I was cooking ribs. Hold on for a second. Alexa, stop.
45-minute timer stopped on Bonnie's Echo.
Shut up. But anyway, um, and it was so nice and cool out there. It was like sitting in air conditioning because of the palm trees. There's a whole row of palm trees, those low palm trees, not coconut trees, palm trees. And the
Mhm.
wind was running through it, and man, it was so comfortable. I could have slept out there. As a matter of fact, I didn't come in until it was after dark.
That sounds
Um,
nice. Mm.
so, maybe you and Gio can come down. Come down, I
Tell,
and just
tell,
keep my
G,
house.
tell
Make sure the
Gio,
roof
tell
don't fall.
Gio about the lizards.
Okay, the guy that just did the work for me,
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
he said that the key to the lizards is getting some Irish soap, some kind of Irish, that green
Irish
Irish soap.
Spring. For
What
real.
is it? Irish
Irish
spring soap.
Spring. Yeah.
And shredding it with the cheese grater and
Mm-hmm.
putting it in bowls around.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't like
Really?
it. He said that flies and mosquitoes and the lizards don't like it
What?
because I had
Wow.
read that the frogs didn't like salt, and I went out and bought this big bag of salt melt that you use for ice and snow and put
Uh-huh.
it all
Uh-huh.
around, and I still find turds of frog turds every morning on my rugs out on the patio. So, and these people down here says, well, you're in their you invaded their habitat. Screw you. They don't understand that the problem really is with big agriculture
Mm-hmm.
that started using so many pesticides way 60 miles away from here that
Mm-hmm.
these lizards and toads had to find a place to live.
Yeah, you're right. Mhm.
So, you know,
But I'm gonna get some Irish Spring tomorrow. Yeah, because I got lizard mama out here. And if they keep
Oh,
away the mosquitoes too, yeah, you're gonna be
I
smelling
know.
like
And
what
I tell
what
you another thing, if you take a piece of yesterday, the other day, I researched it, and the people in Colombia, they take aluminum foil and twist it up and put it in a water bottle and fill it with water, and
uh,
that keeps the flies away from when they're cooking their foods outside.
really? So
And
what? The
and
flies are
and it
attracted
said
to the.
the reflection of the tin foil,
Hmm.
somehow the flies think that it's something invading them or something. I don't know. But I did
Interesting.
that, and I just put it on the tray on my grill,
Hmm.
and it seemed to work because the
Wow.
flies were coming at me big and furious. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because the weather is getting better here, I'm cooking more outside. I
Yeah.
really am cooking more outside.
Oh, well, that's good though.
hmm
That's good.
That's one of the reasons that I moved to Florida. Cause y'all ain't never laughed till you see me with my wool hat, my coat, and my boots in the backyard, grilling in the winter in the snow.
Okay, that's a serious. I need some barbecue. That's all right there.
I am a serious pitmaster. It's
Okay.
really
uh,
funny. It's kind of like maybe I have an obsessive personality because anything that I do, as Stephen would say, go on, honey, you do it big. Because when I was baking last winter,
Mhm.
because of the pandemic, and I was taking these baking classes on bread baking online in the YouTubes and anywhere I could find them. Um, I had to get everything. I have a 25-pound bag. Well, flour was hard to get at the beginning of the pandemic. It was very hard. You couldn't find flour.
Wow.
And but I was spending hours watching YouTube things. I bought all the stuff. I have the things you make the French baguettes in, and I have the other things that you make the Italian breads in. And I got the this and the that and the other. Then I figured out um, every night we couldn't even get to the counter because I had bread rising.
Who was eating all that bread, BJ?
I was literally on the street giving it away.
Okay.
um, um, my friend Mary told me, she said, you know what, Janice? Don't call me no more about coming and getting some bread. Because I introduced her to bread with cheeses and pimentos and stuff in them, jalapeno peppers and, fennel seeds. But anyway, I would call him and say, Mary, and part of it, and I was making loaves, cheese and bacon and pepperoni loaves. But
Mm,
anyway,
okay.
um, because she worked in a medical office, I figured, and she lived alone, I figured she'd take it to the office and share it. And then when the first two or three times, she called me and she said, the girls are just loving your bread. So there I was making some more.
Right, right.
And Stephen told me, honey, I don't think people who bake at home, bake bread at home, make it every day. So when I get into something, I'm one of those people, my father taught me this, that when you do something, you always have to have the tools that you need to do it. Which is why I
Right.
have a garage full of small hand screwdrivers and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah. I could open my own Home Depot. Wow. But so in over the years, I have really been into. I even organized in my neighborhood in Boston. I organized a pit boss competition.
Oh, how did
Brisket,
that go?
spare ribs, and whole chicken.
Wow.
And I was
And
thinking, some people probably might not be able to afford a brisket, or ribs are expensive, and so I figured so, most people in this neighborhood can afford a chicken, you know. So it was baked chicken, barbecue chicken, and rotisserie chicken.
nice. And what happened? Who won?
And we
Did you
had it for
win?
2 days. And then we had the police department to cordon off the street because I lived at the top of the hill. I mean, from my upstairs deck, I could see the entire Boston, whatever you call them, skyline.
Wow.
So the kids, most of the kids in our neighborhood had skateboards or roller skates. And so we had the police to cordon off the hill. And then I got real scared, and everybody had to put their cars in their driveway. Nobody could park on the street. And the kids were playing kickball and all kinds of stuff during the whole competition.
Oh, that's
But you had to
nice.
walk down the street to see who was cooking what,
Mm-hmm.
and I provided drinks and desserts and stuff in my yard because you had to come to the back because my house was way up, 20 steps to get to the ground and then go to steps to get to the front door. So, I really got into it. I mean, I was talking to men that I would never talk to. Pit boss from Tennessee and Oklahoma and Texas, and some of them grilling people. And people don't realize there's a difference between grilling, barbecuing, and smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing smoking and barbecuing mostly. And I mean, to the point where we had Wagyu beef tallow in our refrigerator. Wagyu beef is a very expensive Japanese cow. Like if you buy a piece of Wagyu beef and it's bone in, it's gonna cost you $385. That's one, like one. But I use the tallow, which is the oil from the cow, the fat,
Mm-hmm.
in my barbecuing. I also use pork lard. When I make barbecue ribs, like the other day I made barbecue ribs, I smoke the lard at the same time that I'm smoking the ribs.
Really?
And I'm real careful about the blend that I use on my I mean, when we moved here, um, my housewarming gift from Stephen was a Traeger smoker grill. They say it's a Traeger grill, but it's not a grill. It won't even go up past 450 degrees. But it'll smoke all day long and all night long. You can put it on, and when I smoke like a ham or a pork butt or a brisket, I put it on like at midnight, and it finishes up around 7 o'clock in the morning. And by the time I wake up around 8:30, it has rested and it's ready. and I have butcher paper and the whole nine.
Yes, you really get into your stuff.
I do. And it's just it's like I started taking lessons online many years ago. Painting, because I never paid attention in the art thing. I was so bad at it in coloring, and I mean, it started in kindergarten. I just simply couldn't keep it in the lines. And it had to do with my vision, and nobody caught it. And I was so ashamed of, I mean, everybody, Linda Kinsey and Diane Robinson, my friends, they had such pretty colorings, and mine looked a mess. So I gave up art real early.
Oh.
So they had this lady on PBS who was teaching painting. Oh, and I mean, the people at Pearl Arts, Pearl, there's a Pearl in New York City. No, but they closed about 8 or 9 years ago, right down on Pearl Street.
No, they're still there, I
They're,
think.
they're still there? I thought they closed. But anyway, there was one in Central Square in Cambridge, and the people knew me because every time she pulled out a new kind of brush, because I thought the magic was in the tool. um, I had all the shit. And when Tara was born, when Tara was a toddler, I didn't like the clothing that they made for children. It just seemed to be so white. Like, it just seemed to be white, like Hello Kitty shit. Not Hello Kitty, but, it was like for little white kids. So I decided that she needed something richer. And I had flunked sewing at the Y when I was a teenager. I was the only one in the whole goddamn class who couldn't finish the skirt. And the teacher, she had just had it with me because I was always so confused about the whole thing. And when they were finishing up, I made the mistake of sewing the band onto the hem. I thought I was doing something else.
Okay.
So there it was. And when you got in high school, all the girls went into home ec, but because they were going to tell you about your period and having babies and stuff, you had to be a certain age. And I was ahead of myself in high school, so I wasn't old enough to go to home ec, so I had to go to some kind of science class with the boys. So I flunked. I flunked the sewing thing. So when Tara was a toddler, I started taking at the Singer Center in Brookline. I started taking another sewing class. I did a lot better. But when I finally did something that I liked, oh, I went out and bought the sewing machine. I had the quilting arm, the whatever. I've been working on a quilt since Imani was like 5. And Imani's 27 now.
Okay.
And it's been every block was an African woman cooking or carrying water or carrying a baby, and I would put a name of women in my family on it. And I wanted to get done, and it hasn't gotten done. And I thought that when I came to Florida, I was going to be able to do it, but then I started traveling. Then I got back into doing the show, and so I'm thinking about taking all the stuff that I've done because I've cut out all the things, and I bought Imani 3 years ago a hope chest, and I'm thinking about just gluing it, and she could hang it instead of using it. And maybe if I do
Okay.
it,
She'll never be able to watch it. No, don't do that. You can do this today. You can finish this labor of love. You just have to put a timer on it. Okay, Thursday at 5 o'clock, I'm sewing 2 squares. Get it done.
but look at me right now, all day. I mean, I'm at the point where I look at the clock and say, okay, it's 7:06. I'm gonna go do so and so at 7:30.
Mhm.
Oh, corn pudding got turned the oven off.
Is that what that alarm was about?
Oh, Lord. Well, Gio, I think we should call it enough.
Yeah, we can probably do that.
That time is 30 minutes.
Oh
Oh,
my
It's not
goodness.
hardly. I probably screwed it up. It's not
Oh,
hardly ready.
oh.
Or Ovita told me. I called her this afternoon and I said, okay, I put this in and I put this in and I put this in. Am I missing anything? She says, why the hell aren't you writing this down? She says, this is the third time you call me about the same recipe. Uh, and and I finally was able to make it because I had all the ingredients at one time.
Okay.
So anyway, um, I, I look at the clock and I do say, okay, at 2 o'clock you're gonna do this. Then I come back, I do that, and I come back and I said, okay, 4:15 you go do this. And I'm doing that because um, I think it has to do with retirement. I think it has to do with a mentality that you have to get things done. So I'm running around. I haven't combed my hair today. Um, and I did try to comb it out yesterday. You could tell it's so flat because I brushed it yesterday.
did you change the color again?
No, I think what you're seeing is what was underneath where I didn't get the underneath part, even though I tried 3 times.
Okay.
And what you see is, I think what, I don't know what
Kind of
happened
looks
to
like
it.
highlights, but that no, it looks
That's
fine.
the,
Mhm.
the, there's some white parts, it seems like the white parts I had very early on
Mhm. Okay, I
wouldn't
don't see the
go
white part.
beyond blonde.
Well, it's cute though. Don't I wouldn't worry about it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not worried about it. When I get in the shower, it'll curl up and be all over my head.
That's okay.
I know. But I'm not a harsh critic, but I am my first level critic. Like one night last week, I was sitting here, my hair was wet, so I called myself taking chunks, and Imani told me, she says, Nani, you have to part your hair. You just can't take chunks of hair to braid your hair. So anyway, I made this braid. And at the very least, the braid was going to turn into curly, wavy, whatever. Even if it was a bad
Okay.
wave. And then I went in the bathroom for something and I opened the closet door and there's a mirror so I could see the back of my head. And I said, oh my
Mhm.
God. That's not a. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is, but that's not a braid. And I told him mine. I said maybe it's what they call the twist. It just goes on in here. And Imani said to me, Nani, why didn't you just put black dye or dark brown? And I said, Imani, you have no idea. I mixed up. I've been through like 8 boxes of stuff. She says, Nani, why don't you go to the hairdresser? I said, no, these people are not gonna get me in on COVID. Hell no.
Well,
So
you look fine, and
I
no,
know,
black
and
probably would be too harsh. So I think how that how it came out is just fine.
yeah,
You
because I'm
know.
not gonna put any more. Because you can you can see it coming back up right here. You can see it grew out already. So I don't care. And I should have admitted that in the first place.
Well, we kind of like figured that one out, BJ, but that's okay. We love it. We love it. We love you. Don't hate. It is what it is and what it's going to be. So that's fine.
So
And
did
you
I
know
miss
that,
the discussion?
no,
What
Uh,
y'all say about Jimmy Baldwin this week?
we have not talked about Jimmy, and I think at this point we're not going to.
Well, I think we should because this chapter is very important.
Is, but
I mean, it's
I
not
don't.
a lot. It's typical James Baldwin.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I'm just thinking, given the hour, um, we might be better off waiting till next week. So I talked to Kim today. Kim's not going to be with us this session. She
Okay.
won a poetry fellowship to something called Kubla Khan or something like that. I don't know what it is, but she's very excited about it.
Mhm.
And it for 10 weeks and on Tuesdays. So we're not going to have Kim this time around. Karen is trying to join us.
How is she
Um,
doing?
Karen, I don't know, but after we left last week, I got a message from her that she was trying to get in and couldn't find her way in. And then tonight she told me she's working on a deadline. So if we reconvene next week at 6 o'clock, uh, Karen Karen will probably be with us, and maybe we can give Jimmy the justice he deserves.
Well,
You know.
the thing is, and I'm always thinking about him. You would think that he and I were phone buddies because sometimes I think I know him more than I really know him. And um, I keep thinking how lonely he was. And he keeps telling us that.
yeah, that really showed in this
Yeah,
chapter. There's a
yeah.
lot of his
He keeps
terminology.
telling us that. And at what point, and I'm wondering, and my Uncle Morris is dead who knew him, and I'm wondering at what point I want to talk to Playfeld Benjamin about him. Playfeld Benjamin is a very serious student of James Baldwin. And at what point was he self destructive? You know, I talked about last week how many years he spent not writing. And because writing was such a simple task for him, deep writing was such a simple task for him. What was he doing during that time? You know. So we can talk about that next week. I mean, um, his sarcastic propensity in how he approached his life or the lives of others. I'm not sure that that's how he approached his life. And I'm also not sure. I know that he was very good friends with Lorraine Hansberry and Gwendolyn Brooks. But of his other peers, who was he close to? He was close to Miles Davis and Dexter Gordon. And one of his favorite entertainers was little Jimmy Scott.
Well, Gio suggested that we each bring something like show and tell, a piece of art or music or something
Oh, that would be
to
nice. Uh-huh.
relate it to Mr. Baldwin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Little Jimmy Scott's, what did they used to call them? Not, come on, y'all help me. When you weren't really married, but you were really married, people didn't say, I'm living with somebody. They said, my,
Oh
Friend.
man, my old woman.
no, it was a
No.
term.
Oh.
Really?
Um,
Um,
not like half sister. It was a term like half sister. It was my wife by law or something like
Common
that.
law.
common
Huh?
law. That's it.
Common
Common
What?
law.
law.
Common
Common.
law.
Mhm.
Yes. Little Jimmy Scott's common law wife and I became very good Facebook friends before he died. And I had to tell her about the first time that I cursed in front of an adult in my family was like to tell my aunt she need to shut the hell up because she said that little Jimmy Scott sounded like Mom's Mabley singing. And that just infuriated me because she was just so ignorant in the first place. So that's a good idea. Um, because I will
Yeah.
have to bring my cigarettes and my scotch.
All
Okay.
right.
PJ.
Yeah.
I just will have to, because sometimes I listen to some of his interviews with my cigarette and my scotch.
Mhm.
Um, because um, I imagine that's how he thought through his life with a cigarette and a scotch. I know he drank scotch because my Uncle Morris told me he was a scotch drinker. Yeah. Um, and that's how a lot of people define their lives. That's another thing about me too, is my father had package stores. I don't know if you know what a package store is. It's a liquor store, but you can't drink in it. You can't open in it, blah, blah, blah. And he was one of only two black men in the state of Florida that had liquor license. That's why all the bars, all the clubs, all that stuff, they're owned by white people. The license is held by white people, but um, the black people
Run it.
run it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And On Sunday afternoons, sometimes my dad would take me down. This is when I was in elementary school. My dad would take me down with him to the store to do inventory because he had people who worked for him. And on Sundays, he used to do the inventory. If he bought 26 bottles of gin and 18 were sold, where are the others? That was a problem after I became a college student because every time I came home, I stole liquor from the liquor store, buddy. Anyway.
EJ, stop telling on yourself.
I mean, so because his liquor at home was very expensive and it was for he and his friends and blah blah blah, so I had to get my own because he didn't. I mean, I was a J&B drinker. He was a Johnny Walker black drinker and some other scotch that Chivas Regal that I could never afford. So it wasn't on me trying to drink it. But anyway, but my father was kind of like a curious-minded person like me. So his law degree didn't teach him about, and his life didn't teach him about liquors. But he could tell you the history of key brands of gin, scotch, bourbon, anything he sold because, who the Seagrams were, who the Taylors were. One day he took me, he says, I'm going to take you someplace. He took me to show me over in Palm Beach where the Seagrams lived and where the Taylors lived. Taylors is bourbon. Seagrams is gin. And then he would tell me how it was made and see this bottle. This liquor's been sitting in, it was sitting in an oak barrel for 12 years. That's why it's premium as opposed to this scotch over here that only got 6 months.
Okay.
So I grew up knowing about liquor. So you couldn't have never found me drinking any Boone Farm wine. Ever, never. Even though the wines that my father sold were not dinner wines. They were wines for drunks. What black people drank. But he would take me to his buddies, Uncle Jack, the white man that had this huge liquor store downtown. And Uncle Jack would show me wines that were 25 years old, wines that were 18 years old, wines that was for lamb, and wines that's for beef, and that's where my father bought his wines. And what the difference was between a German wine and an Italian wine. So I got a really good encyclopedic kind of education about liquor.
You
And
sure did.
what?
I
Yeah.
said you sure did. That's a lot of info.
I have a tequila over here right behind me in that liquor cabinet that was given to me by my employees when I retired. And it cost $225.
Okay.
And that was because they understood that I know about liquors. And and one of the big things that I did when I was in Havana, this tequila you could only buy in Venezuela and Cuba. You can't buy it anywhere else. And when I was in Cuba, I went up north to the place where they make this tequila. the man's it was a plantation. It was a plantation. They don't make no. And the man had this huge, beautiful hacienda. A hacienda is not. It's not just. It's just not a word for a house. It's a kind of house, and it's flat, and it reaches out in all different directions. And that was because haciendas were made for people on plantations, tobacco, whatever, for farming plantations and stock plantations, so that they could go in any direction and see what was happening with their crop. They could stand in their houses on their veranda and make decisions about harvesting. And the reason, like you see in TVs and stuff like that, and it's not really true, whatever, they don't make it in big rows, is that they separate based on some kind of the difference between the genesis of the plant. So they don't put plants that came from Home Depot with plants that came from Lowe's. They don't put plants that don't have the same mother and father together. I mean, with plants that have another mother and father. I mean, it's really interesting how they do this. So when I was in Cuba, I spent 2 days at this place. So anyway, one part of the hacienda was a B&B, and I booked 2 days to stay there. And the guy that owned the plantation, he and I spent a lot of time together because I could tell him about scotches and talk to him about bourbons, American bourbons, which he was a bourbon drinker. I mean, and we would sit out on his veranda, and we'd be there till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, drinking. And every time he turned around, he had a, I don't know what they call them. It was a man-made. And every time he was coming with another heaping plate of some kind of food for us to not get crazy drunk. And this guy was telling me about how the regime before Fidel had taken this plantation and leased it to Standard Fruit. And it took him, after Fidel was in office, it took his father nearly 10 years to get that plantation back. And he went to Portugal to college and came back and started redeveloping the plantation. But it's the same house, it's the same soil, and he has allowed workers that work for his father to build houses on his land, and they own that piece of property. And everywhere you go in Cuba, no matter where you go in the countryside, people have turned their patios into restaurants. You could just stop by and order food. And I mean, when we were driving, we stopped at a number of places where the house and people lived in the house, and patios right here, and the patio was, and the food was absolutely fabulous. And then they call Jose down the street, and Jose would come and play the guitar for a couple of minutes.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And so I went to this plantation where this tequila was being made. And we made friends because I don't know. I don't know why we made friends. And he and I talk. He comes into Miami and he'll call me and, blah, 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 blah. But people who don't understand what happened with the Bay of Pigs, the whole history has to do with tequila and tobacco farms and sugarcane farms. That's the whole bottom line. So anyway, and I have some prized liquors, like I'm on all these lists. That's why I get 300 and some pieces of email every day. I don't know. And Michelle be in there in the middle. Odom. And then blah, 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 blah. But that's how I get involved in stuff. And then as I got older, my grandchildren came with this, that, and the other. And the thing about kids is, oh yeah, you look at what they're interested in, and you get interested, and you start talking about like Imani and the goddamn cake decorating thing.
What you trying to tell us, BJ? You got a bunch of cake stuff in there too?
No, you should have seen me, Imani, when she was about 11. All of a sudden, she was in the cake baking thing. And we were doing tours of bakeries, cake bakeries.
Wow.
The difference between the German approach and the other thing.
Stop recording. We've been live the whole time.
You better erase this shit.
Let me